My name is Jeremy Vanderhal. I'm a fighter pilot in the Air Force, formerly a test pilot for the Air Force, and I'm also an airline pilot. I've lived in PV for almost 6 years now with my wife Katie and daughter Noah. We moved here specifically because of the great quality schools in Palos Verdes. My wife grew up in Lunada Bay and graduated from Peninsula High School. And when we decided that we wanted to settle down and have kids, we knew very clearly that we were going to move back to Palos Verdes, pretty much because of the great quality schools here. When I had my daughter 3 years ago, it obviously changed my perspective and my priorities about everything, and I started viewing the world through the lens of a father trying to protect his daughter the best he can. It just so happened that around that time there was a lot of news stories in the national news about how school boards went off the rails and affected the kids in their district in pretty terrible ways. And how the parents were essentially revolting against some of these decisions that the school boards made. And it opened my eyes to what kind of power and authority and control school boards have over kids. And then I started looking into our own school district. And even though Palos Verdes is one of the best school districts in the state and in the country, I saw that there were some indicators that potentially they're starting to slip. I felt that the board was not intervening in the way that they ought to in order to protect these downward trends. And I thought that given my experience leading teams and working to solve difficult problems with complex budgets, I think that I have a lot to offer to help intervene. And obviously I'm personally motivated, having a child that's about to enter the school system, to do something proactive to get us turned around and back up to the elite status that I know that Palos Verdes used to be. I essentially have five things on my to-do list. The first one is school safety. The second one is academic standards. The third one is financial stability. The fourth one is parental involvement. And the fifth one is attracting and maintaining high-quality teachers in order to perpetuate the high-quality education here. The way that I'm going to implement that is, if I'm elected, there's 3 committees that I want to form right away. The first one is a safety review committee. The second one is an academic review committee. And the third one is a financial review committee. What I want to do is do a fresh from start, top to bottom look at safety, academics, and finances to see what have we been doing in the past, is it working, is it not working, why, and then specifically for the academics, I want to do a school by school comparison as well as comparing outside the district to see what best practices are. There's a high likelihood that there's been a lot of ego involved in a lot of the decisions recently, in that if a decision goes well, it reflects great on them, but if it doesn't go well, it's a little bit of denial in that regard. Being a fighter pilot, I have a very thick skin. We're very critical of decisions that people make, and you learn to just deal with that. So I don't have an ego when it comes to, hey, we've done something poorly in the past, let's fix it, rather than just accept something and just continue down a bad path that's leading us down there. In order to address the parental involvement, I want to publicly and actively and proactively invite parents to be involved in school board meetings, because that's really the main purpose of those school board meetings. We are elected to represent the residents and the parents in the district. All the decisions that we eventually make need a lot of input from them. And so if they want to speak to us in the public forum, or if they want to talk to me individually one-on-one to let me know their concerns so that I can then bring that to the board, that's what I want to do. And I want to make it known that that's what I'm standing for. This is my first foray into politics, but as far as being able to confidently lead and speak in front of people, that's my bread and butter for the last 19 years in the military. Leading groups as small as 2 or 3 or 4 people, up to leading groups in the several hundreds of people moving stuff across the country, and having to get up in front of them and confidently brief, hey, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it. But also, behind the scenes, what's interesting is I don't make those decisions in a vacuum and blindfolded. I solicit input from all the different stakeholders, get their takes on the whole situation, and then from there form the consensus so that we're all on board, we're all moving in the same direction, and then execute. As far as getting up and speaking in front of people before, I do that almost all the time. I was a site commander for a flight test program that involved both military and government civilians and civilian contractors working together to do flight tests on advanced aircraft. And obviously everybody has competing interests there. You know, the Air Force has something that they want to do, the civilians have their constraints, and obviously the contractors have stuff that they need. And it's a little bit of a give and take, if you will. As the Air Force commander on that location, I had to balance a lot of different interests and take into account a bunch of different perspectives. But in the end, what worked well for me was realizing that everybody is working towards the same thing. They all want the same goal, but they just want a different way to get there, and that's great. And so what I can do is I can use that to help channel us in the right direction in order to get everybody what they want so that we're all successful together. My name is Jeremy Vanderhal. I stand for school safety, academic excellence, financial responsibility, parental involvement, and high quality education. So if those things are important to you, please vote for me on November 8th. Great. Wow, that was easy.